Hello, welcome back to the Villa Flu, as I'm still low with the flu pandemic. Here's a match preview for Villa's game against Derby County on Saturday afternoon.
Big game tomorrow. You're going. How do you see it?
I had it down as a win when I went through in the podcast and did my predictions of how I thought the month would go. I've called it spot on so far with the 2 draws in December, so I've had this one down as a win, but I think at the time when I did that, I hadn't realised perhaps what a good run of form Derby were on. I mean, to me, I don't do much research, let's face it, but they've come and found themselves in fourth from nowhere.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I know Derby fans at work, and whenever I've been speaking to them, they didn't seem like they were too pleased with what was going on. It didn't feel like they were having a good season.
Yeah.
But for them to be fourth, they must be doing something right, and they've obviously had a good run recently. Andy Vyman, our old players, got 2 assists and a goal last time out away at Barnsley, so he'll be buzzing, and he'll want to prove that he was wrong that Villa let him go. Although probably nearly everyone who was there when he was there is probably gone by now, except for the evergreen Alan Hutton. So it's going to be a really, really tough game. But over the years we've struggled away from home, but I do feel at the moment as if we're perhaps a little bit more suited to playing away from home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one really, because when I think of the Championship, and my knowledge of the Championship is pretty low, happy to admit that, because I always care about what we're doing. I was listening to the podcast either this week's or last week's, and you said about Derby creeping up out of nowhere. And you do look at the table and you just sort of think, where did Derby come from?
Yeah.
Up in fourth, they've gone above us, and they were like 7th or 8th a few weeks ago. So it's going to be a hard game. I've written on my notes, massive game in capitals.
You have, I can see it there.
That's about as much as I've contributed in terms of notes. I feel a little bit underprepared.
The thing is with Derby, I mean, they've choked a couple of times in this league under Steve McLaren. It might have even been Himbo.
He came back, didn't he? And then he did the same again, I think.
So they've choked a couple of times. So they've been hanging around this league for longer than they would have wanted to. And really, the infrastructure of Derby, some of the sides they've had, they probably should have got themselves up to the Premier League by now. I mean, they chucked away a massive lead a few seasons ago and have found themselves stuck there. I think the fact that we feel like they've come from nowhere into the top 6, I think that shows how well we've done over the last few months to stay in that top 6. Obviously, we all want automatics, but first things first, you've got to consolidate yourself in the playoff picture, and I think in the main we've done that over the last few months. This is a massive month coming up now. We keep saying the word massive, but we've obviously got Derby away who are 4th. Bristol City are flying. We've got them 1st of Jan. We've got Sheffield United, who've been on a bit of a bad run. Middlesbrough, who you'd expect to be up there. So that all the teams around us, this is a good chance to consolidate and make sure at worst we're in the top 6 come the end of the season. If we have a good month here, I'd back us that we're definitely going to at least get playoffs, and then we can perhaps concentrate a bit more on trying to catch second, because I don't think we're going to get first.
No.
Wolves are going to win this league at a canter, I would suggest, because they're just so consistent and they're so efficient in front of goal. But second is doable, so this month will go a long way to saying whether we can challenge and get second. Yeah,
I feel like you can almost take any soundbite from the previews and the podcast over the last few months. At the start of the month, we've gone October, this is the month where we sort of see where we are. November the same, and this month feels different to the others because you're playing all those teams that are up and thereabouts. Do you think that it's a benefit to us at this point in the season to be playing them away? So then towards the end of the season, when you need the points and where you really sort of justify your position, we have the big teams at home.
That's not something I'd thought of.
Because we've played most of them away so far.
Yeah, that's a good point raised from you, considering you've got no notes.
Thanks.
as well. That is a good point. It obviously depends on the results, doesn't it? If we suddenly go and get beat every game and we find ourselves not in the playoff picture anymore, we'll say it hasn't helped us. But if we're solid and we pick up some good results, then come the end of the season, we could look back at this month and say it was pivotal. People are a bit downbeat. Obviously, we haven't won in the last 2 now, but the Leeds game, I think we'd have all taken a draw beforehand. And me personally, I know Tom Julian was coming out with his wild predictions. I had a feeling the Millwall game would be like that. I thought it would be tough. I thought they'd come and treat it like a cup final. And in all honesty, I thought Millwall should have won the game.
Yeah.
I thought they did enough to win that game. And excuse me, like some of the other 0-0s, we were very thankful to Sam Johnston. There was a few 0-0s in September, Brentford and Middlesbrough, where Sam Johnston made some very good saves. And there was starting to be a few questions asked of him again, because he'd made a couple of iffy moments from set pieces. But he showed what a good keeper he is. He's resilient now. He bounces back, and he's got a confidence that I didn't feel he ever had last season.
Yeah.
So he deserves a massive amount of credit, because he'd have probably been disappointed with the 2 goals we conceded from set pieces, especially the QPR one. But he's answered his critics in that last game again, and to me he's still been our player of the season. So I know everyone will point to Adoma, but for me, Johnston's been our player of the season so far.
I think I don't want to dwell on your what's the word, mistakes in judgment perhaps, but when Sam Johnston first came, you weren't happy, as many other fans weren't, in the sort of, well, why get rid of Galeno, a young keeper that we own, to benefit Man United or whoever Johnston goes on to the Premier League and plays with by growing his career. Like you say, for him to come in this season and look a totally different player, on the back end of last season, to be fair as well, he did pick up towards the end, shows that how much he's grown as a player in, what is it, not even a year, has it?
Coming up to a year, yeah. I mean, he didn't start great.
Like, if you're saying he's player of the season quality, to go from that to not even wanting him and thinking, oh, why have we got him, he looks a bit shaky, to now being player of the season quality in under a year is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we all get things wrong. The problem is, for me, is obviously it's there for everyone to see. When I say something wrong, there's still videos sitting on YouTube of when I've got things wrong. But when he came in, he didn't start well. That was a fact. He didn't look assured, and I think as the season went on, he improved, but he certainly wasn't at the level he's at now for me at any point last season. So he's grown, and he deserves a massive amount of credit. But I think over the last year or so, I've started to realise, being a bit more behind the scenes of the club and seeing things at the club as well, there's sometimes reasons why things happen. Johnston probably had no idea he was going to end up at Villa last season. He probably kind of just found himself there. Yeah. He was not playing for Man U. He finds himself at Villa, and he's got no security. Probably this season, for the first time in a long time, he's known where he's going to be playing his football the whole season, and that probably helps. Yeah. Probably the fact John Terry's come in has helped him as well. John Terry strikes me as someone who will tell players how good they can be and how much potential they've got. I think John Terry will do the same for Grealish, and we'll probably come on to talk about Grealish. But I think sometimes there's circumstances of why things are the way they are, and I think there was reasons that maybe I didn't pick up on, maybe I should have picked up on last season. But now he looks the business, and fair play to him. I want us to keep him permanently. I'm not convinced unless we go up that we will be able to. But he's a massive part of what we've done this season, and he'll be, if we're to get anything tomorrow, he'll be a massive part of that as well, because Derby are a good side.
I think what's testament to his development as well is that when you were talking then, I was going to say that, well, maybe he's playing in front of behind a better back four now. But Hutton, Chester and Taylor were all here when Johnson was here. So, and we've lost Terry in the last few weeks anyway, the last few months or whatever it's been now. So it's nothing to do with a better defence or a better team or anything like that, is it really? Because it's his own play that's propelled him to what we think of him now. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the mental aspect.
Like, if the whole back forward changed, you go, oh, he's playing in front of a better defence now. But a lot of it stays the same.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the mental change of knowing where he's going to be playing his football. I think that's the main thing. I mean, we'll never find out. Yeah. But I would think that has been a contributing factor to what he's done. I mean, you mentioned Terry's been out, and we're not going to have Samba this weekend. I actually think he's done very well. He's exceeded expectations for me when he's played. I think he's been very, very good. And I spoke about him in the podcast. Obviously, Tom wasn't his biggest fan when he came in, but he's surpassed anything I thought he would be. Yeah. I was worried about him coming in, but I think he's better on the ball than you actually think he is. He just looks awkward. I think he gets rid of the ball at the right time. He takes no prisoners. He doesn't mess around. So he'll be a big loss tomorrow. I was saying in the week that I thought Terry might be back. I think that might have been a bit ambitious.
I think Bruce has said this morning that he might be back within a fortnight. Terry.
Sheffield United or Boxing Day then.
So
for Terry,
your hunch was that Terry might be back. He's not. Samba's not playing either. Jedinak's been training for the last week, I think. So is Jedinak centre back now?
I'd have thought so. Doesn't say much for Tommy Elphick, does it?
I'd actually forgotten
about
Jedinak.
Elphick came on the last game.
So he came on to replace Samba then, so surely that's the natural fit, isn't it?
Jedinak wasn't available though, was he? I think if Jedinak had been fully fit, he'd have been on the bench instead of Elphick. The thing that would worry me about Derby, they've got some mobile players, and that would perhaps worry me more with Jedinak than it would with Elphick. Because let's face it, as good as Jedinak is, it's not his position. Yeah. He's not a centre back, although he played a very good game there last season. against Sheffield Wednesday. So I don't. If Jednak's fully fit, he'll play. If not, I guess it will be Elphick. And I know Elphick scares some Villa fans, but the fact is, if Elphick plays, and again I'm looking into reasons of why things happen a bit. Yeah, the guy hasn't played all season. You can't expect someone to come in and play at a high level, having not played for months.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't even been playing for the under-23s.
Yeah.
He's played a couple of League Cup games. So if Elphick does play, it's important we get behind him and give him some support, because it will be a hard task having not played, and he's not coming in against also Rams. He'd be coming in against Derby, also Rams.
I think with Elphick, you say that you'll worry some Villa fans, but you could say the same about Samba. He would have worried a lot of Villa fans, but he's done all right. So maybe if Elphick does come in, one thing that I know is because I sit in the lower Trinity, Dad and my granddad, and you can hear everything on the pitch pretty much. And as soon as Elphick comes on, he's going, Whelan, drop in, Elmo, do this, do that. So he comes in and he does bring what Terry gives in the organisation sense, but obviously not as good. But you don't hear Samba shouting anything. So maybe what he lacks in, maybe you'd say ability, he'll bring that organisation back that we're missing from Terry.
I don't think we've been unorganised. Maybe in the Millwall game we were lucky not to concede.
Yeah, Elphick's there going, get your man, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe. It depends if the instructions that he barks out are any good, though.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? You know, it's Whelan barking out quite a lot of instructions, and I'd say I trust Whelan. Elphick's been erratic at times. I wanted him to do well. But he has been erratic at times and not lived up to what we thought he was going to be. I mean, he probably wants out of there, to be honest. He's a very professional. He deserves credit for his professionalism. He's never complained. I know people will say, well, he's getting paid good money, he shouldn't complain anyway, but he's perhaps in his eyes not been treated the best. But yet when he comes out, he still gives his all, and like you say, he's prepared to bark out those instructions, despite probably being a little bit embarrassed about what's happened. But if he does play, it's a good chance for him to put himself in the shop window as well. Play as well, someone will come in for January and we'll sell him.
I want to talk about what Max said in fan cams. Have you seen the fan cams?
Yeah, I watched it.
When he said
because I'm not in it doesn't mean I don't watch it.
I just thought you'd think, I ain't watching that.
No, I watched it.
He asked people whether they thought Davis had been found out. When he first said it, I was behind the camera obviously, and I sort of almost winced, like, oh, that's a bit of a weird question to ask. But let's say Davis has been found out, devil's advocate. If he has been found out and it's not working, how do we even change it up front? Hogan's been out injured, he's only just come back. Gabby, I don't know whether he's back yet, but same with him. What can you do if Davis has been found out and you need to freshen it up? There's nothing to change, is there?
I personally don't think he's been found out. He's tired, but I don't think he's been found out, and I don't think the way he plays the game, everyone knows he's big and strong from day one. It's not a case of being found out, because everyone knows that those are his traits, and they're hard.
It's not a hidden trait, is it?
Yeah, they're hard to defend against. So he's never not been prolific the whole time he's been in the team. So I wouldn't say he's been found out. He needs a break, and he's not prolific anyway. That'll come with time, hopefully. He's young. You've got to remember he's carried the Villa front line for the majority of the season, and I think had anyone told you at the start of the season that Davis would be leading Villa's front line for half the season, Villa fans would have been, oh God, he'd have been in arms. We can't rely on a kid. But the fact is, when he's played, he's made everyone else better. Maybe there's bits of his game that he's sacrificing for the team. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So to say he's been found out, I thought that was bizarre as well.
You could
don't let Max on again.
You could argue. You need to turn up.
No,
you could argue though that being found out and him needing a rest, it gives you the same problem that he's going to be out of the team anyway. So what can you do?
We've got Hogan
come back.
Gabby's back. Hepburn Murphy will be knocking on the door soon. So you've got options. The important
it changes
thing
the way we play though.
I get that, but you've got to have a multitude of ways of playing anyway. The important thing is if Hogan plays, you've got to get the right players in the team and play in the right way. So I suggest if Hogan's going to play, you got to play Grealish as well.
Yeah.
You got to. I know the light's gone.
I know.
You got to play Grealish as well, because he's capable of putting in the service that Hogan needs. Get Horahan to play a bit more direct than he has been, balls through. So you got to play in the right way, get the right personnel around him. Hogan's a good player. I don't think he'll start this weekend, but he'll start games over the Christmas period for sure.
The lights have gone off. There's nothing we can do. So a little bit dark, a little bit coffee, but we'll have to soldier on. We usually do the preview on a Thursday night most times, and that's before Bruce's press conference. We like to usually do it after, but sometimes our time doesn't allow that. But today, press conference has been done. Chris Samba, Henry Lansbury and Alan Hutton all look set to miss Derby through injury. Big blow.
Well, we expected Samba to be out. I didn't think he'd play Lansbury anyway. I thought he'd put Horahan back in. And Hutton, he's done very well. You can't knock him. I know I've knocked him previously, but you can't, for the last however many months, you cannot knock him at all. But we've got a good replacement, Al Mohammadi, and actually, but I've said this before, both of Davis's goals have come from Al Mohammadi crosses, so maybe that's a way to get Davis firing and get his goal tally up, having Al Mohammadi in there. So the squad is so strong that any injury usually can be covered. And even though we've got injuries at the moment, the annoying thing is when people come back, someone else gets injured.
Yeah.
So we never seem to have that full squad to pick from, and that's what Steve Bruce will want. He'll want to pick his best 11 from everyone available. He's probably not had the chance to do that all season, but that's why you have a squad. So although it's disappointing to miss players, those three who I would expect to come in, we think Jednak will come in for Samba. Adequate replacements, aren't they?
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that. I think there might be a comparison between El Mohammadi and Davis and Loughton and Benteke.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
He gave those whipped those balls, and El Mohammadi plays a similar style to that. So, like you say, if his 2 goals have come from El Mohammadi, maybe him coming in brings the best out of him in a way that you wouldn't think, if changing the right back is going to make the striker better. Is not a change that you think is logical.
That's the thing, you need relationships. I mean, I remember, I don't know whether you're getting Loughton and Bacuna confused, but there was a time when Bacuna got 5 or 6 assists from crosses to Benteke, so you need to build relationships throughout the pitch, and maybe that's what we haven't been able to do because of injuries. There hasn't been those relationships sustained. I think Horahan and Whelan, people will say Conor Horahan's gone off the boil. I actually think in the middle of the park, Horahan's defensive game has been exceptional this season, and it's gone unnoticed. So I think those two in the middle have built up a good relationship, so it'd be good to see them back together, although I thought Lansbury played well against Millwall. The big one for me is I want to see Grealish in the team.
Yeah.
There's people that don't like him. This is just my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't get that at all. Doesn't sit well with me that people don't like him and don't rate him. He's a fantastic footballer. If we can get the best out of him, he'll give us a better shot at promotion because he's such a good player, and he's the best natural footballer at Villa for me, Grealish.
I like Grealish as well, but to play devil's advocate, I can see why people can be frustrated with him because we don't see it often enough. You can only pick out a handful of games where you go, Grealish changed game, Grealish did this.
Yeah.
You want to see him doing it every week. You can argue that he hasn't had the opportunity to do that. And maybe you'd have thought, I think remember last season, was it you said he'd be player of the year? Or was that
I was ambitious.
Obviously ambitious, but you think, we'll drop down a league, he's a good quality player, we'll build the team around him, he'll thrive. But we're, a year and a half into the Championship and we've barely seen him. I know he's been injured, but I don't know whether he'd work with Davis. I liked the idea of him and Hogan, but then we haven't seen enough from Hogan to justify his place either.
But then you wouldn't think Onema and Davis would work.
No, true.
Onema's a tricky player. His passing's probably not as good as Grealish is, although he's probably a bit more direct. That would be my criticism of Jack. I want to see, good friends. I want to see him be more direct.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does have a tendency to slow the game down a little bit, but the guy doesn't ever get a run of games in his proper position. You're saying about you'd expect him to come down this league and tear it apart. When has he had a run of 5-6 games at number 10? It's never happened. He's been on the wing, he's played in poor sides, he's had poor players around him. There's not that excuse anymore, so I think if you gave him a run of games, you'd see him far. Towards the end of the season, he scored a couple of goals, and even then he was scoring, then being taken out the next game. So he'll be frustrated with how it's gone. But the kid loves Villa, wants to do well for Villa, will do well for Villa if he's afforded the opportunity.
Yeah, I know we always do predicted lineup rather than what you'd like to do. So what do you think Bruce does for this weekend? But he's obviously forced in some changes.
Yeah.
So is it just the obvious?
Johnson in goal, Al Mohammadi. I think it'll be Jednak because he would have been mentioned if he was injured or not available. So Jednak, Chester, and Taylor. Whelan and Horahan, central mid, right mid, Snodgrass, left mid, Adoma. I want to say Grealish should be number 10, but
I think Onema needs the rest.
He'd be my number 10, Grealish. So I'm going to say that Bruce will finally give him a shot. Grealish number 10, Davis up front. It'll be the bench that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, there isn't that many options, is there?
So what would we make the bench out to be? Steer,
Bjarnason,
Delat.
O'Hare maybe.
Yeah, Onema if he doesn't play.
Hogan,
maybe Gabby.
So there is options.
There is
options, but there's options that haven't played or have only just come back from injury. So
Elphick as well.
Are they really options?
But that's still a good bench.
Yeah,
Any of the players we've just named on the bench is a good bench. I'd be a bit worried if I was Bjarnason, if there's been injuries and I'm still not getting a game, and Andre Green's on his way back. I'd be a bit concerned if I was him.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird signing, isn't it, with hindsight? There was a few comments like he works hard and all that sort of thing, but I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh because he hasn't had a run of games. He's played left back, left mid, played in the centre I think once as well.
Yeah, I always think there's two things that you need as a player.
You've gone very, very far over.
Sorry. I always think there's two things you need as a player. In a full pre-season with your clubs, you can't come in January and hit the ground running. I don't think it very rarely happens. So he's had that pre-season now, but you need a run of games, and he's not had that. But then when he's come off the bench, has he shown his best? Probably not. So it's a difficult one.
Prediction?
I'm going to stick with my podcast predictions just because I've got them right so far in the result. Maybe not this exact scoreline, but I've got the result right. I have a 2-1 to Villa and hope that it's like the QPR game. And I'll go for first goal. I want to say Grealish, but then if he doesn't start, that's going to make me look silly. I'll go with the Doma. What about you?
I'm going to go 2-2, I think. I'd be fairly happy with a point.
It's just 3 draws in a row, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's three tough teams, I suppose.
Yeah.
Class Mill was that much of a tough team, but the way the game went, a draw was fair. Leeds, obviously, and Derby, both away. They're 4th. It keeps us up and around the playoffs, keeps us in the playoffs. But there's always that thought in the back of my mind that you beat the teams like Derby, because we haven't beat anyone in the top 8, is it, as a stat like that? Or
no, but the current top 8.
The top 8 you'd expect, like the Derby, the Leeds and the Wolves and the...
That can be dressed up though, that kind of stat. We beat Sheffield Wednesday last season, they were in the playoffs.
True.
So
that's last year.
No, but I'm saying, is it just this season?
That's this season, I think.
No, but we beat some good teams and we've gone to some tough places and
beat QPR away, didn't we?
And got results. QPR had just beat Wolves.
Yeah.
So we're on the right track, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's the Championship. You just got to keep plugging away. Haven't you? You got to, if you pick up points away and win at home, you take that. You just need to get those odd away wins as well, and then you're flying then.
Yeah, if we win our home games this month and pick up some good results away, it'll be an acceptable month in my eyes.
A few weeks ago, or months ago, sorry, that you're looking at Sheffield United as the one to catch.
Yeah, it changes.
I don't know, maybe a point ahead of them or something. They're below us anyway.
Yeah, it changes on a regular basis.
That's the Championship, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough league. Most months I look at the fixtures and think, there's no easy games there. So that's it for today's match preview. Thank you very much for tuning in. Obviously, a pleasant backdrop for today's preview. And obviously, we've found out a bit more information because Bruce has had his press conference today. We're at Villa Park because we've actually interviewed Chief Commercial Officer Luke Organ today. Really, really interesting interview, and thanks to Luke for agreeing to talk to us. So we found out some good information for Villa fans, so that should be on our channel next week, and hopefully you'll all find that a good watch. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you could please do that and get your post notifications on as well, that would really, really help the channel grow, and you'll find out when all our videos are coming before anyone else. Comment below with your thoughts and predictions ahead of the Derby away game. I'll actually be at the game tomorrow, so come over and say hi. If you do see me, I'll have a camera crew with me, so come up and have a word with me if you can.
Oh, I was going to say you'd one-taked it then for the first time.
I nearly did, but then I forgot.
Oh,
I always wanted to check if there's anything else I should say, but there isn't, is there?
That's not. You could have just said thanks for watching, that would have been it.
No. Oh well.
Apologies about the lights, by the way.
Yeah.
We've done that shoot with Luke Organ and now everything's run out.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks very much for watching the video. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa, stick with my groggy voice up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.